keep in mind when you're doing this job after you're done, you're going to want to go to a local garage and have the vehicle aligned so you don't have premature tire wear. I'm going to take the wheel off, use a 17mm socket, take these lug studs off, go to take the last one off. Because they're lug studs, the wheel's just going to fall. So I'm going to hold the wheel on, take that stud off, and then grab the wheel, take it off. Loosen up this jam nut. I'm going to use a 15/16 wrench. You could also use a 24mm wrench. There's a little collar right here. Just take a pry bar or a screwdriver, just tap it so it's loose. Now I'll take the tie rod nut off. I'm going to use a 22mm socket. Take that off. And this just happens to be loose enough that I could just pull it off. You may need a pickle fork or just hit the end with a hammer to break that free. I'm just going to use a little rust penetrant just to loosen up the outer tie rod from the inner. I'm going to hold the inner tie rod with some locking pliers and then use a 7/8 wrench and just loosen up the outer tie rod end. As I loosen it, I want to count how many times I turn it. So that'd be one turn. The reason why you count the turns is when you go to put this back together, you want it as close as possible. You're still gonna have to go to a shop and have the vehicle aligned after, but this will get it so it may not burn the tires off your vehicle as quickly. Getting to the shop. 24, 25. So that was 25, so I'm gonna write that number down. Take this little spacer thing. This is actually what crushes the outer tie rod end that crushes this. So the tapered end, that's going to go towards the tie rod end, and the flat end's going to go towards the jam nut. Slide that on there. Slide the tie rod end in and just count how many times you turned it. 25. So that was 25 turns. And I'm just going to take this cover off. That's just for shipping. And just twist the knuckle in position. Get the stud to go through the knuckle. There we go. And take the nut, put the nut on. I want to tighten up this outer tie rod nut. But to prevent the stud from spinning, I can actually use a hex bit, a 7mm hex bit. So I'll use a 7/8 wrench to tighten the nut, or a 22, and a 7mm hex bit. It's a little bit tedious, but you could also use a ratchet wrench. It's snugged up. Now I'm going to torque this nut to 48 foot-pounds. To be able to get the right angle on there, you may have to turn the wheel to move the knuckle so you can access that. And now tighten up this jam nut. Now if you can get a torque wrench on here, if you have a crow's foot, you're going to want to torque that to 38 foot-pounds. Take the wheel, put the wheel back on. Get the lug stud. Now I'm just going to torque these lug bolts to 110 foot-pounds. I'm going to do it in a star pattern so that it tightens the wheel down evenly. And just go around again, double check.